Now, before I get started with this Q&A, I just want to let you guys know that, okay, this is an idea that I've come up with. I've actually done these videos before, but I have decided to bring them back, and not so much on a everyday basis, but more of a seasonal one. I am talking about my Wrestler's Graveyard. I have decided to bring it back in October, the beginning of October. I've already had 2 that's under my belt. The first one's going to be Oksana. The next one's going to be about the Ascension. If you guys have any ideas on who I should put next, because I do have a few, but if you want some that you want me to put on there for the Wrestler's Graveyard, for those that are being buried currently or in the past or no longer there, by all means do send it to me via YouTube or on Twitter, and I'll take a look at it and possibly make it into a video. But guys, let's move on to this mini Q&A. I thank you guys for sending me questions. I actually have questions all over the board this time. I have questions not only on Twitter, but I also have Facebook Messenger question, and I also have a question that's coming from YouTube. Only one from YouTube this time. But let's get started with my questions from Twitter, which comes from Largest85. What do you think of Ryback's terrible promo skills? Is bad, mostly because Ryback talks like he has no personality. He sounds like he's trying to remember his lines, and it just sounds bad. And it's not because he can't speak, it's because they're making him a face. Ryback's character is more of an anti-hero or a heel. I mean, he was great when he was an anti-hero starting off, and he was even better as a heel, but then he became the whole corny, I'm a bully, high school bully type heel, and it just didn't work. And when you try to force somebody to do a character that doesn't work for them, it turns out to be very bad. And that's what's going on with Ryback right now. He has a lot of potential to be a great character. It's just they won't let him be him. And you can see the result of that. Your second question for me is, do you watch Dancing with the Stars? I did. I don't anymore. The last time I actually watched it was when Chris Jericho was on there. I did see when Stacy Keibler was on there, but then I stopped. It just became a show that I felt that was being rigged. And I think the last time I did see it, actually no, I did see Chris Jericho on there, and I did see Stacy Keibler on there. Unfortunately, she didn't win. She actually did have a torn Achilles tendon, which means she had to quit. And that was before she decided to leave the WWE for good. And I think the last time I saw it was what's her name? Sarah Palin's daughter, when she was on there, and how bad she was. She ended up winning. I kind of quit because it reminded me too much of American Idol, how it was so choosy. It has nothing to do with the voters. It's all about who's popular. So I quit watching altogether. But anyway, moving on to number 3. Do you think it's annoying Do you think it's annoying whenever Nikki is wrestling and Brie is shouting, "Come on, Nikki," from the outside? Yeah, I got tongue-tied there, my bad. But anyway, it's not really so much the whole cheering that bothers me. Like, "Come on, Brie! Come on, Brie!" or "Come on, Nikki!" If she's rooting her sister on, more power to her. And I like Brie. I think Brie's the best talker of the twins. It's just Nikki sucks at dialogue. She really sucks at dialogue. It's like she tries a bit too hard. She is great. She has come leaps and bounds from her training. You can tell in how she wrestles. She is a lot better than she used to be. But she's just really bad when it comes to talking. And just her trying to do a promo is just all out bad. Brie has more substance, more emotion. She's not stiff, but Nikki is. That's the only thing that bothers me. Not the fact that they're like, "Come on, Brie," and I'm not gonna lie, or Nikki, but I'm not gonna lie. When Brie shouts Brie mode, it annoys me sometimes because I'm hearing that a bit too much. But hey, that's them. That's their shtick. More proud to them. Moving on to number 4. What is that thing that the Miz wears? I guess it's a headscarf. I don't mind it at all. It looks weird. It looks like a giant sweater without the arms. But hey, it's a thing. A lot of people are wearing them, but mostly women. I don't see a lot of guys wearing them. But hey, he rocks it. More proud to him. And I said that twice. And your last question for me is, what happened to Christian? Christian, I think, is officially done. I think that he's no longer wrestling because of his injuries, and I think that he's just probably doing. I mean, he actually did do a Stone Cold podcast with Edge. We all know that Edge retired, but the thing is I think Christian's right behind him. I think Christian can no longer wrestle because of his injuries. He's probably still doing stuff for WWE, but he's no longer wrestling anymore. He's no longer an active wrestler. He actually was on a Stone Cold podcast with Edge a little while back, but I don't think he's going to be making any return anytime soon. And if he does, it's going to be a quick cameo, done. But yeah, I think he's on the verge of being in the Hall of Fame and probably being an active retiree. Not an active retiree wrestler, but an active retiree. That's pretty much how I'm seeing it at this moment. But thank you so much for sending me questions on Twitter, guys. And I actually do have the information on how to do it after this Q&A is over. Let's go on to the Twitter questions that File Lemon sent me through Messenger on Facebook. Your first question for me is, when do you think Cena will retire? I do not know at this point, because Cena is straight up hardcore. The guy won't give up and never surrender his career. So yeah, I highly doubt that he is going to retire anytime soon. But even if he did, it wouldn't really matter to me, because he's going to fight just as hard to stay where he's at. And I got mad respect for anybody that's, that's true to themselves. But honestly, I don't think he's going to retire anytime soon. I think he's going to be wrestling probably until he's 50. But I'll be shocked. Seeing how the injuries he's gone through, I don't know. But we'll see. Your second question for me is, has Kevin Owens lost his steam since he's now feuding with nobody like Ryback? With a nobody like Ryback. I wouldn't call Ryback a nobody. I will say that Ryback has potential. He just needs work when it comes to speaking, but that's because of the character that they chose for him. And as for Kevin Owens is hot stuff. Let's be honest. Whatever feud he's in, he makes it look good. So on the real, I really do feel that, yeah, and I'm looking at my hair. But anyway, on the real, I really do feel that no matter who Kevin Owens feuds with, he's going to make that person look good. So honestly, I don't think he's losing steam. I think he's going to pick it up, and he's going to pick it up hard. His biggest feud was his debut on Raw. So it's nothing but going up from there. And I doubt he's going to get squashed. He's way too good. Seriously. And NXT is one of the best shows on TV right now, or wrestling wise, at this moment. Your number 3 question is, what do you think of Curtis Axel? I'm waiting for him to disappear. I'm actually surprised that Curtis Axel is still on the roster. I'm shocked that dude didn't get axed after WrestleMania, because there's nothing more you can do with him. It was bad enough he chose Mr. Perfect's legacy to base himself on with his music and everything in the background. And it didn't work because he's no Mr. Perfect. Nobody can be Mr. Perfect, not even his own child. I'm sorry. He made that mistake right there. Then he ended up deciding to be Hulk Hogan for some random reason. And it got stale really fast. There's nothing more you can do with this guy. But the amazing thing is that the WWE are canning potential wrestlers, but then they're not canning people who suck at promo work, who barely wrestle, barely on screen, and has a gimmick that doesn't work, but for some reason still there because of Mr. Perfect. That's my opinion. I think it's because he's a Legends child. How will it look if they fire a Legends child? But if he's been canned, I think it'll be good for him, because he'll finally find out what character will work for him, and maybe he comes back and he comes back strong. But right now, no, he should have been canned like everybody else. That's just me. Number 4, do you think Vince and Dunn wants to sabotage NXT by building up Eva Marie to win the NXT Divas title? It's the women's title, not the Divas title. It's the women's title, and it deserved to be called that. But I know what you mean, man. Look, I got no beef with Eva Marie. I have a mad amount of respect for a woman that actually will still work hard and do what she can do, regardless of people making fun of her. Everybody already chants she can't wrestle, but hey, neither did Trish. Neither did the Bella Twins. What they had to do, they had to work at it. They had to get better. They had to increase their skills, and that's what they did. Eva Marie is going to get better over time. Nobody is built as like a natural in a day. Even the naturals mess up. They may have potential, a huge amount of it, but even if they do, they still have to work. There's still a few things they need to work on. And even Marie, she's doing the best she can. If she gets a diva title, good for her. I mean, if she gets the women's title, forget that whole divas crap. But if she gets the women's title, that means she worked hard for it. Because Bailey is the champ right now. If she takes it from Bailey, that's all I have to say. You've made some improvements, Chickie, and I give you some thumbs up. So I give her mad props. And I don't think that they're going to sabotage anything because that's Triple H's baby. So if she actually does get the belt, that means she's worked hard to get it. And I think that people need to start giving her a little bit more props when she actually beats Bailey. Because Bailey beat the boss. I never thought the boss could be beaten like that. But she beat the boss. If she could beat Bailey, then yeah. More power to her. I give her mad props. But anyway, moving on to your final question for me. What did you think of the Diva searches back in 05, 06, and 07? Meh. Seriously. They tried to do the same thing like Toughen Up, but instead they wanted to have it all women. And honestly, I don't think any of those women that they chose survived. None. They survived for a little bit, but then disappeared. And honestly, it was a waste. It was just a hot contest. That's just how I saw it, as a hot contest. And unfortunately, nobody that I can remember made it. But if you remember somebody that's still wrestling today or made it at least more than a year, leave it in the comments. Sometimes I'm wrong. So if you know who it is from these Diva searches that actually made it for one solid year or more, leave it in the comments. But thank you so much, Final Limits, for sending me questions. And let's move on to the questions that I actually have from YouTube. I only got one, so it's kind of simple, and this is going to be a pretty mellow Q&A. But my last question actually comes from Dustin Nunn. Have you ever played Super Smash Brothers? Yes, I have. Probably one of the best stress relievers I've ever played on. And it's fun, especially for those that had, and I think it was on N64, for those that had an N64, for those that have a Wii or a Wii U, it's fun. It's the best stress reliever around. Not as good as GoldenEye, but it's fun. Seriously. But guys, that is my Q&A. I thank you so much for sending me these questions. And if you do have questions that you want to send to me via YouTube or on Twitter at RKA30 #NatureGirl Q&A. The whole thing with Facebook Messenger was only a special thing because the Final Limits actually sent to me there because he had difficulty with his computer at the time. But anyway, guys, I still thank you for sending me questions, and by all means, send them to me on YouTube or on Twitter. This is NatureGirl30 signing off. Peace out, guys. Later.
You don't wanna lose her.